Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this weekend's F1 news video. And this weekend there isn't much news, but there's a whole lot of speculation and rumours and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get into all of them this weekend. Before we do though, make sure you subscribe, that's the rules. There was a video that went out on this channel yesterday about like F1 all-time dream driver pairings. So make sure you watch that one after you've watched this one. But in the theme of dream driver pairings, we may be looking at a dream driver pairing for Aston Martin next year. So currently they have Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, but there is a rumour going around that there may be discussions between Aston Martin and Charles Leclerc. Now this is due to, and this is our big news source here, Charles Leclerc has followed the Aston Martin F1 team on Instagram. Now, usually with this kind of thing, I'll be like, no, forget it, load of rubbish, I'm not even going to talk about it. But I think maybe there might be the smallest little bit of weight to this, because he only actually follows two other teams on Instagram, which are Ferrari, the team he drives for, and Alfa Romeo, which is the team he used to drive for. So maybe there's a little bit of weight there. We know that he's not the happiest in Ferrari at the minute due to just all that happened last year and what seems to happen at the start of this year. In terms of Aston, they're looking very strong with one half of their drivers, but Lance Stroll hasn't performed very well on the other side of the garage. I think Leclerc to Aston could be a fantastic move, and a team pairing of Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc would be a tremendously successful one at Aston Martin, because I think Aston Martin are only going to get faster. They're the team with the most momentum on the grid at the minute. I think this could be a very good move for him, especially come 2026, when realistically that's the next time anyone's going to challenge Red Bull for a world title, in my opinion. They'll have the Honda engine. They'll be basically a works team. Charles Leclerc at the front of that could be tremendously successful. The only issue is he would have to beat Fernando Alonso, who I don't think is going anywhere either. But those two as a team at Aston, I think would be fantastic. There is all the discussions, of course. Could Lawrence Stroll realistically fire his son from the Aston Martin seat? And I think, yes, he could. I mean, he's a businessman. He wants to be successful. And I think if Lance is getting in the way of that success, which I think he possibly could be in terms of Constructors' Championships, then it's only right to give him the cut. The big question would be, what would happen at Ferrari? Now, of course, there were the rumours like a few weeks ago of Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, which is something personally I would like to see. And that could lead to a Lewis Hamilton-Carlos Sainz partnership up at the Ferrari team, leave an empty seat in the Mercedes, could be taken by a Lando Norris, an Esteban Ocon, who knows, a Nicholas Latifi, who knows. But yes, I think this rumour, take it with a massive load of salt, but maybe deep down there is something there. Maybe we could see a driver silly season this year as well with Leclerc across to Aston Martin. I think that could be great. Moving across now to look forward to next weekend's race, which is in Canada, Montreal, and now there's rumours here as well that there could be another cancellation on the calendar, and this is due to the wildfires that we've been seeing. If you're watching the news lately, the wildfires in Canada, I mean, if you've seen the images of New York, just the smoke has blown down from Canada into New York, and all the sky is orange, and like, looking at the statistics, it's the dirtiest the air has been since records began. I mean, you have to look back to like the 20s when you had all that industrial smog to realise how bad it has actually got there. Looking at it now, it seems like they're pretty confident that it can go ahead, that the wildfires won't affect it, or they will be out by that time. But there is a slight bit of concern, of course, that this could lead to another cancellation of a Grand Prix this year after Imola, which was cancelled by the floods. We're going to have another one cancelled by wildfires. I mean, it's almost like there's some kind of change in the climate happening across the world at the minute that we should really look out for, but that would be ridiculous, of course. And finally, our last piece of news slash speculation here is that it's understood that Alfa Romeo has finalised an agreement to become the new Haas title sponsor for 2024. Now, Alfa Romeo, of course, are on the grid at the minute as part of the Sauber team, but that does come to an end at the end of this year. They'll go back to the Sauber team for 2024-2025, and then they'll become the Audi team in 2026. Unless Audi come in a little bit before that. I think there is a year of Sauber in between Alfa Romeo and the Audi stuff. But Alfa Romeo do not want to leave F1, it seems, so they've looked elsewhere. And the elsewhere could be the Haas team, which I think could be a good little deal for them, because I think Haas are a team that just kind of like to get on with it. You know, you can just give them a bit of money, they'll put your logo on the side of the car, and then just let them get on with it. We've seen that with MoneyGram this year. You know, to bigger extents, we've seen it with Uralkali and Rich Energy, and I think Alfa Romeo are a much better sponsor than those two were. But yeah, I think this is a good deal for everyone. I mean, I think Haas are the kind of team that in the past few years just haven't had any money, but have been competitive for the amount of money that they have had. I think MoneyGram have come in and helped them out to that extent there, and hopefully I'm hoping that throughout the season we'll see them get faster and faster. The only issue I have with Alfa Romeo is that Alfa Romeo have sponsored the Sauber team for a few years now, and it hasn't really given them anything. They've just kind of stayed there or thereabouts, and my question would be, is that due to the Sauber team not really getting any momentum, or is that due to the fact that Alfa Romeo aren't really giving them the budget that they need? And when it comes to the Haas team, I think that they're getting quicker, so if they had the budget that the Alfa Romeo team has had for the last few years, would that improve them in that position there? I mean, there are connections still, because the Alfa Romeo team uses a Ferrari engine, Haas team uses a Ferrari engine, so, you know, I'm a big fan of Haas. I like the Haas team. To me, they're like the ultimate underdogs on the grid, and I always want to see them do well. So, you know, a little bit more money, hopefully they'll do well. And I hope as well they don't lose the Haas name, because I quite like that. I hope it's MoneyGram Alfa Romeo Haas, just like, you know, the Aston Martin, Aramco, Cognizant, Honda Formula One team. I want these massive long titles. I think it'll be great. So there you go. That is our 3 pieces of news / speculation / rumour that we have this weekend. Do you believe any of them? Should I believe any of them? Let me know in the comments. But I think there's some interesting stuff there. Could we see Charles Leclerc and Aston Martin? Hopefully we see the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend. And could we see Alfa Romeo Haas in 2024? You know, there's a lot of movement going on at the minute, and it's all good. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Of course, it is Le Mans this weekend as I'm recording this. The start of Le Mans will be in about 6 hours or so that's all very exciting. I've never actually watched Le Mans before, but this year I've watched, obviously, the F1. I've got into the IndyCar, so I thought, you know, I've watched Monaco, I've watched the Indy 500, I should watch the final part of the Triple Crown. I doubt I will watch all 24 hours of it, but I'm looking forward to seeing it, especially Jenson Button in that NASCAR. I think that'll be an interesting thing to watch. Let me know if you're going to watch that. And until next weekend, when we'll be back for the Canadian Grand Preview, see you then. Have a good one. Goodbye.